Indonesia is making all efforts to attract wealthy foreigners to the country, emphasizing on long-term stays in Bali and other destinations. For this, Indonesia has introduced second home visa program, which will allow foreign tourists to stay and work in the country for 5 to 10 years. However, there is a catch. If reports are to go by, the new visa of 5 years and 10 years will be available for those who possess at least 2 billion rupiah. That is $130,000 in their bank accounts. Indonesia adds to a list of countries, from Costa Rica to Mexico, offering long-term stays to lure professionals, retirees, and other affluent people. All are seeking to tap into a growing demand for migration options. As legions of educated workers, known as digital nomads, look to use their newfound freedom after the pandemic to keep doing their job remotely. The Indonesian government lifted most of its travel restrictions and implemented a quarantine-free trial period and a visa on arrival scheme on March 7, 2022. Digital nomads are people who live in a nomadic way while working remotely from everywhere using the internet. They travel to different locations on a regular basis and often live in co-living spaces or work from a coworking. If you are a freedom-loving person who loves to travel and wants to discover the world while meeting like-minded people, then this lifestyle is for you. A digital nomad visa is a document that gives you the legal right to work remotely while residing outside of your country of permanent residence. It therefore enables holders to retain their current employment based in another country while residing in their country of choice. Applicants often receive tax benefits as well as the right to stay and in a place such as the European Union for a much longer period of time than the other visa options would allow. Commenting on the new visa, the Minister of Finance Regulation, Sri Mulyani, emphasized that this immigration policy has as its main goal luring foreigners to stay and contribute positively. In 2021, the country also released plans for a digital nomad visa to attract visitors to Bali. Post-pandemic, Bali gradually began to reopen for international tourists on October 14 of the previous year, 2021. At the same time, the Indonesian government has sought to further revive the local economy by removing restrictions and adding more benefits to travel. Bali is in many ways an incredibly wonderful place to live and work, and there are many expatriates from all over the world living in Bali who have opened businesses and made a living. Of course, a decision to move to Bali is not an easy fit, as it depends on what you plan to do and what you expect to experience or achieve here. Although living on this island, natural beauty, spirituality, and high-speed Wi-Fi encourages many to simply settle here. The move follows countries like New Zealand and Portugal, which have recently introduced digital nomad visas to capitalize on remote workers who want to work overseas after the pandemic upended traditional work structures. Over a dozen other countries have launched similar programs to attract young and travel-keen remote workers. The digital nomad lifestyle is growing in popularity as pandemic-enforced working styles, such as remote work, become more common. Last year, 15.5 million Americans identified as digital nomads, according to a report. Indonesia has lots to offer in terms of travel adventures. Bali is a good base if you want to explore other areas. For example, you could easily head to the Gili Islands or Nusa Islands, which are just a ferry ride away from Bali. Remember, Bali is a big island too, and there are lots to see. The timing of the launch coincides with the sharp rebound in tourist arrivals to Indonesia, as airlines like Garuda Indonesia resume international flights. The upcoming G20 summit in Bali in November is expected to put the international spotlight on the island, on top of bringing in tens of thousands of delegates. With its picture-perfect beaches, thriving local and expat communities, and dazzling tropical ecosystems, Bali is definitely the kind of place we can picture ourselves spending the next decade. For context, some of the current longest tourist visas on offer come from Georgia and Albania, which both give travelers 1 year to explore their countries. And as Indonesia's offering is still technically a tourist visa, you wouldn't have to pay tax to the Indonesian government while you're there.